Dodgy, low-life, scum-sucking, and that's just how she described the agent. Today we're going to take you through Jane's story. Unfortunately, she's been a victim of a dodgy agent, you could say, and it's not that uncommon. So we're going to take you through what happened to Jane, how you can avoid this from happening, and how these seemingly malpractices can affect your home buying story.
Let's start off with Jane's story. She was in the process of buying a property in Queensland. We'd helped her with getting a pre-approval together. She was informed by the agent that she needed to get her offer in by 9 a.m. on Sunday morning.
Yeah, so this is pretty common at the moment. You might have jumped on realestate.com.au and instead of just putting a sticker price on there, having a nice, $500,000 is home, sweet, I'm gonna offer $500,000. No, these days we're seeing a lot where it says for sale, for offers over, best and final offer before 9 a.m. And unfortunately, this is what Jane had faced. She'd only just gotten her pre-approval and was probably a little bit green and didn't understand how it sort of worked. So he thought, well, I'm gonna go in and make my offer and probably shoot a bit lower than I should.
Now, when she made her offer, she was informed that there was another buyer that was interested in the property, and the agent actually gave a little bit of a hint on her conditions of the other offer and the price the other person had paid. This initiated a bidding war where she increased her offer, so Jane increased her offer and tried to trim down some of her terms. So she made her finance from 14 days to 7 days, building and pest from 14 days to 7 days. So she changed some of her terms and also increased her offer.
Yes, this gets pretty stressful because it goes back and forth. The agent saying, Jane, increase your offer. And now later the agent comes back and says, well, you got to go a little bit further. And it went back and forth all day on that Sunday. And she was feeling a bit flustered, a bit pressured, just thinking, well, is this right? Aren't there meant to be multiple offer forms I'm supposed to sign?
That's right, Jane. This is where the pattern repeated itself a couple of times until Jane confronted the agent and said she believed that their behavior was illegal. The agent claimed that they were merely following the seller's instructions, but Jane argued that the instructions were illegal and the agent should know better. Now, in Queensland, where there are multiple offers, there is a form that needs to be signed beforehand so all parties are in the understanding that it's best and final offers. In this situation, it was absolutely chaotic and Jane felt that it was completely unethical.
So let's break down what happened here with Jane and how you can avoid it in your own situation. We are seeing this across Australia. In some markets like in Perth, it's even crazier. So we're going to take you through 3 tips you need to follow to avoid this from happening.
And if you find value in this video, please consider hitting that subscribe button as it does really help out the channel. And a big thank you to all our subscribers for your support. Inspires us to create more content we hope you enjoy. Jane, what's our first takeaway for our home buyers out there based on Jane's story?
So the first is understanding the market dynamics or just the current market you're buying in. So the market is really fluid. From the beginning of the year to quarter way through the year to halfway through the year, the market has changed and evolved, and so have the conditions. You've got to understand if it's a buyer's market where potentially the sellers are selling at a discount, they need to get out of there and you can lowball your offer. Or if it's a seller's market, and in this case it means that we'll potentially need to go in a bit sharper with your offer.
I think in Jane's situation, she was fairly green to it. We just helped her get the pre-approval and she just recently came across the suburb she loves. She didn't really understand that even though we'd seen a 4% rise in the interest rates, she felt that the market should be a lot lower and it was a buyer's market. Maybe reading some things online, she probably felt that it could be easier to get in the market than what it was. When she went out to the property, she actually didn't realize that there was a lot of competition in the area for the specific properties she was looking at and therefore found herself in a bidding war.
And this is the reality of buying in a free market. In a real estate market, there's not going to be a set price. We helped Jane with the core logic, the RP data report. She may have looked at the sales, but with real estate, it can be emotional. So if it's a hot market, potentially you need to think about putting your best offer sooner. You might need to not look at your sort of beginning offer. You might not look at your mid offer. You need to say, well, this is the maximum I'm willing to pay, and understand that someone out there might be willing to pay more than what it's actually worth in the current market. And that's the reality.
Now, whilst we're in the market dynamics, it also comes down to understanding the particular property. So if you get to a property or an open home and you see 30 people going through it, you probably do need to take that strategy on and start off with your close to maximum bid rather than starting too low and getting outbidded or in a bidding war. The other thing is, if you are struggling with your emotions and understanding the marketplace, this is where a buyer's agent can be handy. In a lot of circumstances, buyer's agents will help you with the negotiation, understanding the market, and really delving into the details.
Yeah, I've done a story before. You can see the video below, my auction buying story a little while ago. And with that particular property, I only missed out by a few $1,000s. And a question to ask yourself, if you are looking at a home, there aren't many properties coming up particularly at the moment, you might say, well, if this is the right home, am I willing to lose it for $5,000 or $10,000? Now, in isolation, that feels like a lot amount. But if you look at your payments, it may not make a big difference. And it could be the difference between you securing this home or spending the next 6 or 12 months looking and spending your Saturdays going to open homes for no luck.
Now, Jaden, what's the second thing that Jane could have done, or buyers out there that don't want to find themselves in this situation to prepare and be ready for?
Yeah, so the second thing is understanding the agent's role. So this is really important to understand. In Jane's case, she was only new. She only started out and thought, well, the agent's there to help me make my offer, take my offer. I'm the only one there. And I felt in that situation before where you put your offer, you're like, that is amazing. It's like your newborn baby. Nothing is more beautiful than that. And in Jane's case, unfortunately, there were other people in the background. So the agent's job is to sell the property on behalf of the vendor or the seller for the highest amount possible. Their job isn't to take your offer and run with it and make your offer the most beautiful baby in the room. Unfortunately not. So you need to understand when you're dealing with an agent, you're basically dealing with an enemy spy, with the other side's person. So you need to go in there and say, well, this is my best offer. This is my best foot forward. You want to make their job easy. Like Nathan said, she reduced her finance terms from 14 to 7 days. From the agent's perspective, that's excellent. It means that instead of them having to wait 2 weeks, 14 days for the finance to get approved, it could potentially get to that 2 weeks. Then your finance falls over and the agent has to start again with a new contract. They know, well, that's cut in half. So it makes the agent's job a little bit easier. The agent gets a sale and moves on to the next commission check. So I think that's an important consideration when you're there. Well, how do you make it a little bit easier for the agent to sell that offer?
So once understanding the agent's role, it's also important not to give too much away. So if you're telling the agent that my maximum amount is this, or I don't have my pre-approval sorted, or I have this, that, the other, you got to be guarded and not give too much away here. Once again, the more information you give the agent, that can be used for or against you.
Yeah, so I like to just ask them questions rather than give away information. Questions like, why are they looking at selling? How long has it been on the market? You might already know that, but it's just good to get the agent talking, because sometimes they might let slip, oh, it's been on the market 2 weeks. They had to get some walls painted. Oh, well, why'd the walls get painted? Oh, yeah, well, don't know. There could be mold, or there could be issues they're trying to cover up. Things like that can help. We've got a whole checklist on that. Check out our website. There's way more questions you can ask the agent, but trying to understand their situation, where they might be moving to. Are they moving out? Is it an investor? Are they trying to offload properties? These questions can really help you understand the reason they're selling, and then you can tailor your offer to make it win-win.
Now, the last thing is, Jaden, what's the third point that home buyers out there need to be aware of so they don't find themselves in Jane's situation?
I think learning from experience. So this can be hard if it's the first home you've been to, the first open home you've been to, you fall in love with it, you want to buy it, it's your first love, your only love. It can be pretty heartbreaking. You can feel pretty dejected. But I think, like with a lot of things in life, it's all about experience and sort of getting out there and trying different things and trying a lot of things. So the more you can get out there, the more open homes you can check out. And even with making an offer, what I usually suggest when I'm working with a lot of our home buyers is sometimes it's better just to make an offer sooner, or at least start the dialogue with the agent sooner. I had another story recently with Mark. He was looking at buying a place. The listing was online. He'd spent a week analyzing the local area, looking at the property from Google Maps, hadn't gone to the inspection, then took another week and a half to go to the inspection, went to the inspection, thought this is the perfect home. Spent another week researching and checking out the homes, doing all these numbers and everything else as an engineer. Anyway, by the time he contacted the agent and said, all right, I'm ready to make an offer, the agent said, oh, it's actually under offer. It's subject to finance. The finance clause expires in 2 weeks, which is heartbreaking because they don't necessarily have to update the listing online to say it's under offer until it's formally approved or it's unconditionally approved. So by this, it just means the more you get out there, the more places you can see, and the quicker you can act, the more likely you're going to be to secure your home.
Now, once again, learning from past experiences. In Jane's story, she might have been maybe looking back and thinking to herself, maybe next time I'll just put in my best and final offer. Instead of starting too low, too cute, I'll put my sharpest terms down and just be like, that's it. Real estate agent, this is my first and final offer. If you like it, call me. If not, well, then don't, too bad, because she obviously walked away from that experience feeling quite annoyed and frustrated that the agent put her through the runaround, maybe did things that weren't technically legal, and then she ultimately didn't win the property in the end anyway. So I think that's another experience that moving forward, if you really like the property, instead of starting too low, find out what your maximum is that you're willing to pay, put that down, and be prepared to walk away. You can even put a clause in the contract to say, my offer is valid for the next 6 hours or 12 hours or 24 hours, and then at least you know this is my best offer. If someone else is willing to pay more for it, well, then that's the way it goes, and on the next one, maybe I'll be the one that is the person that wins the property. And remember to like, share, and subscribe to stay informed with all things property and finance.
So to wrap up, I think it can be a tough market. It can be tough going. Remember, you're dealing with real estate agents. This is their job, day in, day out. They're professional negotiators. So you can't be expected to be that amazing, but you can expect to be prepared and be ready. So the 3 tips we went through today: understand the market dynamics. If the days on market, if properties are selling quickly, if you're like my friend Mark, who, after 3 weeks the property was effectively sold, you're going to get to feel that stuff selling quickly, and you're going to potentially have to go in there with almost your best and final offer from the get-go. So understand that. Number 2, understand the agent's role in the transaction. They're not there to help you. They're not there to hold your hand. Unfortunately, they're there to sell the property to whoever's going to give them the most amount of money. So take that approach. Ask lots of questions, try not to give too much away. And the third question is, you just have to learn from experience. The more you get out there, the more places you see, the more you understand what you like and what you don't like. It's pretty unlikely you're going to walk through the first open home inspection and that's going to be the home you're going to buy. You're going to have to go and see a bunch. On average, we're finding it's taking people 3 to 6 months, even from when they've got their pre-approval, to actually eventually find the right home, because of a combination of not lots of properties on the market, because it can be really competitive, or it's just hard to find the right home. You might find the right home and there could be issues with asbestos, with building and pests, that sort of thing, and you have to cancel the contract.
And that's where here at Hunter Galloway we can help. We're mortgage brokers and deal with people Australia-wide. We specialise in helping first homeowners. So reach out with us directly at huntergalloway.com.au, fill in a contact form or call us on 1300 088 065. Guys, thanks for watching today and we'll see you next time.